The Bunker Project, podcast episode number 31.
Unbelievable.
Welcome back to another episode of The Bunker Project. This week we're talking about negative feedback, Creative Commons music, QR codes, and more cool tech stuff.
And I don't think my voice is very nasal. No way.
Well, that's a good segue into what we're going to talk about this week, negative feedback. But before we do, let's just, follow in what we did last week and introduce some of the people here that are joining us here.
Our guest
this
mavens.
Week at the Rectangle.
So let's start up with our voiceover specialist, Dudovitskis. And we got right. All right, you're live.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, say something deep and meaningful as a DJ's voice.
Deep and meaningful.
Nice. Well done. And we have Bonnie Sainsbury here. Awesome. And she is a Twitter maven. Bonnie, say something weird.
Tweet.
This is our first time.
I knew she was going to. There's a big grin. I'm going to do it to him, man. All right. And we have some extra special guests, but they're not sure if they're going to jump on the show. You guys going to do an intro at the beginning, or are you going to be quiet and then jump in later?
No, I'll introduce myself.
Okay, right on top of the mic. There you go.
Step up to the mic. My name's Scott Menard. I've got over, I've worked half my life. I'm custom installation design specialist and
In audio stuff,
in
right?
audio video.
Big cine screens and...
Yes, and of course we're moving forward with the networking and the integration with iPads, and so I'm here to learn. I want to
Very
listen
cool.
to what you guys have to
Awesome.
say.
And you have a sidekick?
My
Oh,
secret
Kikette?
weapon and
Yeah, jump right in there.
Okay. Hi, I'm Anne. I used to work at digital marketing in Sony Music Entertainment in Thailand.
Oh,
But
really?
here-
I used to live in Thailand.
Yeah.
I used to live in Sukhumvit Soi 11. Sugoi.
Is it Nana Street, right?
Yeah, well, I used to go to Nana Plaza. I was naughty on Nana Plaza, but I used to live, the Q Bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Andrew from the Q Bar and Dave, and they're old buddies of mine, and we were just down the street from the Q Bar. Awesome. By the way, anybody goes to Thailand to party,
It
the
would
Q
be
Bar.
a bar, Bob.
Yeah, well, I guess so. They didn't serve dark beer. I used to have the, what did they have? Not Mekong So. It was Red Bull
Yeah.
vodka was their
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah, that was huge in the UK for a long time before it made it out this way.
Wow. So my question is to our we have a Thai maven here. Well, we're going to upgrade her to a Thai maven. What's the best Thai restaurant in Vancouver?
The best Thai restaurant.
Well, okay, they're all crap, but what's one that even gets close? Do you know? Have you found a good Thai restaurant?
Thai house.
Oh,
Thai house?
Yeah.
in Yaletown. The one in Yaletown, or
In Robson Street.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
What about the basil leaf?
The beef with basil. Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. That's
There's
good one.
there's one in Burnaby. You're gonna die for it. It's very authentic, and there's a mama-san there. You go there and say "pet mak mak," and so good. It's really, really, really hot, spicy.
There's the Sawasdi on
No,
on Main.
Sawadee Cup
Cup.
or crap.
No,
If
yeah.
you want to be really cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
but on Main Street.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Sawadee Cup on Main
actually,
Street.
Yes, it
we
was
have a new topic now.
basically the first one in town, I think.
The restaurant.
Yes.
Called Sawadee Cup.
Very good.
Don't know that one. So this is what the show is about.
We're talking about Thai food while Bob's eating his French fries and
Yeah, sorry.
drinking his Guinness.
We are a multinational show.
All right, so let's jump into the first topic.
Oh,
which
hang on.
is-
That was a digression, wasn't it? Excellent. Okay,
Ah.
there's a game we have at the Bunker Show. Every digression, we have a sip of beer.
or pop if you're not drinking beer.
Yeah. All right, Bonnie. So now, Bonnie, are you twittering right now live?
I am indeed.
Excellent. And what did you just Twitter?
Live on Bunker Project.
Live.
That's as far as I
Hey,
got.
now we have a hash mark.
Okay.
I think it's the Bunker Project hash mark.
Yep.
Is that too long for a hash mark, Bonnie?
It is indeed.
It's a bad hash mark.
Yes, it is.
So what would you recommend for us as a good hash mark? Bunker?
Bunker PROJ.
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's good.
POOJ. I
So
like
let's
that.
officially change our hashtag to pound bunker PROJ.
Okay, Bunker
Let's do it.
PROJ, that's it.
That's
Hash mark. Live at the bunker. We just got upgraded by Bonnie the Maven.
So
And,
we were going to talk about the negative feedback and positive feedback.
Now, hang on.
we
I
got.
just going to get all over this conversation because that's what he complained about.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Explain it, Bob. What are we talking about?
Hang on, I gotta put my naval voice on here.
Andrew, you're going to jump in and explain because I have a biased opinion.
All right. Well, we got on our Facebook wall, facebook.com/The Bunker Project. We got an individual who's been listening to the show.
He loves the show.
He basically said that he loves the show. I've got the feedback right here.
Caveat.
He says, I enjoy your show, but I find Bob to be disruptive, misinformed, and at times I find myself annoyed by his whiny, nasal voice. Just some listener feedback.
And his point would be?
Ouch. I just got like slam dunked by the Bonster. Killer.
So Bob responded within 20 minutes on Facebook, and he replied right back again saying, wow, less than 20 minutes, Bob. It's nothing personal at all, just business. So we're trying to figure out what that means.
Well, maybe he's a
business.
consultant
Could be.
looking for work.
Maybe
can-
he's a podcast
Consultant for what?
Being obnoxious when you're on the radio or on the podcast. I don't know.
So turns out he says that he's
Hang on. I'm just going to jump in here to really piss everybody off. Maybe he's one of those head doctors that specializes in nasal stuff. I could use one because my wife complains about my snoring.
Ear, nose, and throat guy.
Thank you. But don't they have a fancy doctoral name so they can charge you lots of money? It's
Ear, nose, and throat guy.
yeah. All right. Thank you for
we're
playing.
talking in layman's terms.
Back
here.
to the show. So, digression. Sorry, I need a drink.
That's true.
Oh, and you were saying, Andrew, before I so rudely interrupted.
Before you disrupted the show?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he there was a thread of conversations going back and forth between Bob and Saeed, I believe his name is.
And he's a cool guy.
And he seems like a cool guy. He just had something to say and he said it. And
I want more complaints on my nasal voice as I chew French fries and talk and spit into my mic.
so let's just play a response that somebody who listens to the show every now and then.
Defending the little Bobby.
Defending Bob. We'll just play that.
It's my
for
puppy
everyone to
eyes.
hear.
Oh, hey, this is Marcel. I'm calling from far, far away, Vancouver. I've been listening to the show on and off since it started. And I actually read in the show notes the other day that somebody was describing Bob as disruptive, annoying, and commented on his nasally voice. Now, while all three of these things may be true, I have to say I think he's funny, he's quick-witted, he keeps things going. And Bob, don't let the haters get you down. Aight? Okay, bye.
Wow. I'm tearing up. I'm tearing. Oh, no, sorry. I just stuck a French fry in my eye. That's what happened. You know, what I got to say is I love any feedback because and this is kind of what the conversation was, is like, you can trash me as much as you like because we can learn from that. Now, what I've learned is I've got to go see an ear, throat, face specialist about my nasal problem. It just hasn't been my wife complaining. You know, she's got to live with it. But anyways, so I sound misinformed when I say stuff like that, don't I? Sorry. Anyway, we love feedback because you cannot improve yourself unless people tell you what you do wrong. I mean, you go to clients and or anybody and say, hey, so what did you think? So, it was wonderful. It was fantastic. We love it. He said, well, great. That gives me no information to grow on. But if you say, you know what, I like what you did, but, you know, this is giving me a problem here, and maybe if you did it this way, it would improve, then you can sit back and say, you know what, maybe that person's right. Maybe I should work on my nasal voice and get more deep voice. I'd say if I do that deep voice too much, I'd pass out.
Maybe you just need a Heil microphone.
Oh, here it goes. It's a technical thing.
Could we see the passing out part? That'd be kind of funny.
Please, for
Not
God's
great on
sake.
a podcast, but good in person.
Well, you could like thunk. That was his passing out yet again.
But before we get off this topic, it's important to note that the show actually did get quite a few pieces of positive feedback on iTunes. Actually, in the U.S. iTunes store, we only have one piece of feedback.
But it's awesome.
It is awesome. And you have it there in your notes there.
What, I got to read it now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. Okay. Which one?
It's the...
Sorry, I'm misinformed. Which page? I
Page
got
2.
10 pages. Oh, this stuff here? I can't read that. Look at the small. It's tiny.
Okay, I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm blind.
All right.
I didn't. I have I have a seeing eye duck.
Well,
Useless,
actually, this
but,
one is from Stark Knight. It says, awesome podcast. This
Stark
is one
Naked?
Of my
Was that-
favorite Stark Knight.
Oh, sorry.
This is one of my favorite podcasts on iTunes. I enjoy the casual banter on social media with black beer thrown in for good measure. Another one by Ian Nethercott. This is a fantastic project. Great people, and lots of dark beer. It's a must on your schedule. LoveMineCars.com. Raving fan of the Bunker Project. We don't have the one from the States on here, Bob.
It's here. Is it here? As we passing paper. Is it a sound effect for paper being passed back and forth? There you go. That's why the CNN special sound effect.
Yeah, fun show from Canadians who love tech and new media and usually even know what they're talking about.
Usually. That's the
Usually.
Bob
And
part.
actually, there's one from Australia. These guys are good are good and have a relaxed conversational style. Best of all, they don't try and talk down to the audience. It's like you're having a chat with a friend that really knows his stuff. I liked it. Plus, they should try Hunter Old and Australian Black Beer.
Did we try that?
No, he sent us 2 He's Old.
Yeah, so, we just got... Oh, anyways, so we're looking for an illegal package of Hunter Gold mailed to us because it does work if you say it's a trade show product.
And that was pretty cool because Bob, in I think it was episode 3, he called out. He did a call out to the audience. Hey, we drink black beer here, and if you send us a beer from anywhere in the world, no matter where you're listening, Australia, Thailand, wherever, send us a black beer, and we'll do a review for free. And we got 2 big bottles of 2 He's Old.
It was awesome. We actually did a video taste. We did a whole thing. If you go on, we'll put it in the show notes. But basically, it's on
YouTube.
We do an unboxing because we got this very cool package from Australia with 2 beers with a really nice cardboard construction. And it actually kind of to show you the mentality of Australians. They actually have special mailing cardboard container constructions that you can buy to ship bottles of beer. It was quite impressive. So we do that unboxing on the video, and then it goes to the pour and the discussion of Andrew and I taking sips and discussing the beer. And then we do the second bottle. We did pizza. We had a gourmet pizza from Andrew's lovely wife, and we gobbled up another pint plus. Wouldn't be a pint, but it was like 8.2.
There was quite a bit of beer.
It was awesome. I mean, not enough for us to get tipsy, but we worked on some other stuff later. Anyways, that is an awesome video. It's like, 8-9 minutes?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So you'd be totally bored after watching something like that. So have at least a 6-pack of beer to get you through that 9 or 10 minutes. Anyway.
It was fun. So let's move on to... do you have anything else to say about feedback? Actually, I have one more thing to say. If you're listening in iTunes, all you have to do is move down to the little place where it says leave a review, give us a star rating, and...
at least 5.
iTunes rates podcasts partially based on reviews, so it'll help improve the distribution of the Bunker Project.
You can trash us. Go ahead, buddy. Go.
I was just going to say that there are lots of YouTube videos of folks unpacking their technology.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
unboxing.
So that sounds like it's about on par with unpacking a smartphone.
I know. It's a smart beer.
Yeah.
Well,
Bob did an unboxing of his podcast gear.
yeah, my
Unboxing
podcast kit.
video. Yeah.
That's pretty boring. Maybe the thing to do is do some bizarre art style unpacking. It's like I'm unpacking a haggis and unpacking this, that, or the other. In fact, hey, there's a call out. Tell us something you'd like us to unpack that's really weird, and I will go out and do that.
Well, I'll be unpacking
For
something
real.
in a couple.
As long as there's no pornography involved.
in a few weeks.
Unpack a dildo. I don't know.
I'll be unpacking something in a few weeks.
Oh, that's that special care package. Yeah, delivery sucks. It's 9 months to deliver a package. Give me a break.
Yeah.
9 months to deliver a package.
Well, include
Yeah.
manufacturing.
Well, the
too.
package was delivered
Oh, including
8 months
manufacturing.
ago, but never mind.
What? Yeah, okay. You don't want to say what it is, though, do you?
Well, he can't because he had to sign a non-disclaimer, disclosure, or something agreement with his wife.
Yeah,
You could get in serious trouble then.
Yeah, I think we already are.
yeah. I'm going to be in like 18 years of trouble.
Yeah, well, it depends if it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
30 years.
30
Oh, 30 years. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Hey.
18 is way underestimated.
Yeah, no, for my parents to say like 50. 50. And we're still freaked out by this little thing.
All
Hey,
right.
anyways, I don't have any show notes. What happened to my show notes?
Oh, you handed them to me. That's the problem.
All right, I'm going to put my glasses on. We're actually going to get the show on the road here.
I think we got Bonnie here, and she's a Twitter expert, and she was just talking before the show about QR codes. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Oh, yeah, QRs. We actually mentioned it last week. The Google shortening, the URL shortening that Google does, has a QR option, doesn't it?
I just heard about that.
Yeah, we just talked about that before the show. It's
Was that what
pretty
you guys were
cool.
about to talk about, and I just totally screwed it up?
No, Bonnie was telling me before the show how hot QR codes are right now, and how you can do virtually anything with them. And Bob, you've been talking.
I thought you were
about this
talking
for a
about. I
while.
thought you were talking about a Latin American boyfriend she had. Sorry. Says he's a QR guy. He's so hot. He's so hot. Oh my god. So, anyway, sir, another misinformed message by Bob.
Yeah.
Hello.
So
So, I'm basically a geek. I have always been a geek. And,
Hang on, wouldn't that be a geekette? The feminine for geekette?
Well, there's so few of us that I think we just get
Lumped in.
lumped in with everybody.
Typical.
Right.
well, in English, we don't really have different words for different genders and professions and stuff like that.
You know, in Japan they do,
yeah,
to be disruptive and
in
jump right in
French
there.
and in Spanish and
Okay, to give you an idea how
geek is fine. There's nothing wrong with geek.
in Japan, you know when we have a pencil and it rolls away from you and then rolls towards you, there's two different kanjis in Japanese for the rolling away and rolling forward. My wife one day, because she translates, says, Bob, give me the English word for rolling away. And I said, well, it's rolling away. So, okay, but if it was rolling forward, what's the other verb that you would use, or noun or whatever? I said, well, rolling towards. And
Sure
we had
would.
this 5-minute discussion, but what's the word that describes it rolling away towards? And there is no word. We have a simple language because guys like me are very simple. Anyways, Bonnie, sorry for digressing like crazy. What were you
I already
about to
had my
say?
drink.
Something gripping because, Bonnie is our Twitter maven
Of the week.
Of the week.
of the
Absolutely.
week. Of the week.
Seems
So-
that we have a maven every week.
You can scream when we interrupt you too much,
Okay.
but you can't swear.
So actually, I do see an awful lot of avatars that are QR codes, which I think is cheesy.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump right into what Avatar? That's a movie, isn't it?
No, an avatar is your photo on Twitter. It's your,
Oh.
your logo, call it whatever it is. It's an avatar.
Nice one.
So it's actually an avatar when it's on Facebook or LinkedIn. So it is your graphic representation to the world.
Bonnie, what's your avatar look like?
Looks
Itchy.
just like me.
It's a photo.
It is indeed a photo because I get recognized. Can I tell my IKEA story?
Absolutely, baby.
Okay, so I'm standing in line at IKEA to get yogurt on a Saturday. And anybody who's been to IKEA on a Saturday, there are lots of people, and they're all standing in line to get yogurt.
Hang on, I thought that was a furniture store. What's going on here? Am I confused?
Downstairs, you can buy yogurt.
No.
On the way out. Oh,
And
yeah.
hot
way.
dogs.
Frozen
For real?
yogurt is amazing.
And hot dogs.
And hot dogs.
2 for $1.
No.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm standing there, and there's families all around me, and someone way behind me is yelling, "Be Sainsbury, be Sainsbury," which is my Twitter ID. And so I turn around, and there's this woman I've never met before, except online, and she said, "Oh, I follow you on Twitter all the time. Be Sainsbury." She didn't even know what my first name was. So we agreed that I, was going to try to. I was going to follow her back. I never did find her. That must have been 18 months ago, and I was at a meeting about 3 weeks ago, and I had just told that story because it's my favorite story in the whole world about being recognized. And this woman comes up to me and she says, "Do you remember we met in IKEA?" I know. Can you believe it? Anyway,
Wow.
she's this business coach. No, I have her business card. I know who she is.
So who is she?
Linda. I'm bad with names.
Well, what's her Twitter thing? You'd know that one.
I don't. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I don't.
Linda, so when you find out about the show, you can go into the show notes as Bob. I don't like your nasally voice, and here's my address.
Absolutely. I do follow her, and I've follow Friday her 2 or 3 times because I thought it was such a good story, and I've got such mileage out of it.
So
Awesome.
for QR codes, don't
So-
use a QR code for your avatar. Hey, Bob uses
Oh, hang on.
he's got a
Wait,
picture with his
don't
hands on
use
his
Saw
head.
that.
And he said in one of the shows, he said that all he has to do is show up at a party, put his hands on his head, and he gets recognized. And I said, well, geez, my avatar is a cartoon version of myself. And he says, that's not a problem. You just whip out a pencil and draw a picture of yourself and say, see, now you know me.
And the
So,
cartoon avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to jump in here with avatars. If you are going to decide to get serious about social media and communication, definitely avatar is the most important decision you're going to make because, as Bonnie says, that is your thumbprint. And if you aren't consistent with it, it's very confusing. I mean, there's some people I know on my Facebook account, and every week they've got a different avatar, and you just don't recognize them. And case in point, our maven, Tristan, who may or may not call in because he's doing special cocktail mixing in California today, his avatar, you can't really recognize him as avatar. And he came to the show, we did a couple of podcasts, and then I recognized him on Facebook. So, hang on, that's Tristan. That's the guy that's been on the show twice. Oh my God, I've been friends with him for like 6 months, and I didn't even know the guy. I mean, okay, that's Facebook and me. I'll friend anybody. But you've got to kind of have a clear picture, unless you're super shy. I saw somebody just had his ear. It's like, what? And it wasn't even that pretty an ear.
An ear as an avatar.
Yeah, well, he's willing to listen.
I've seen that. I don't know who it is. See, I can't remember who it is.
Body parts for avatar.
Yeah.
Just don't go there, people. Hey,
Unless
anyways,
maybe you're selling earrings or something.
yeah, or you're an eye, ears, and throat specialist. Oh, I'm sorry. How did I bring it back? That's gonna be the running joke for the show. Okay, how many times can Bobby just drag that poor dead horse back onto the show?
So I want to talk about QR codes.
Oh yeah, so QR.
So
Is it a winning move or a loser move?
I think it's winning. I think it's going to be huge because mobile, smartphones, everybody has a smartphone. Even people who don't know how to use a smartphone have a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
And as Android becomes more and more popular. So Android, what that means is there's just a lot more manufacturers out there.
Well, let's face it, Android is going to be king of the hill.
It is.
Yeah.
It already is. And it has been for some
It's surpassed.
iOS.
So does that
Yeah,
make
it's
Apple the
surpassed iOS.
queen?
Now it makes Apple a niche market.
Apple will
But a
probably
cool
end
niche
up being
market.
Well, but they are coming out with rumors have it they're coming out with a low price point phone.
Gee, I wonder why that is.
Well, they have to.
Well, they have to compete. But hey, it's the market, is the electronics market, and
the iPhone Nano.
everything is redundant.
But yeah, so QR codes, because of the smartphone becoming a huge source of or not source, but
Excuse?
the market
Oh, sorry.
is moving. The internet market, the mobile market, is taking over the internet.
Right.
Basically.
And not everybody is talented. I was on the bus the other day, and there was a girl hanging off, from the strap.
She wasn't one of those bondage chicks,
No,
was
she
she?
wasn't. She was just someone going to work.
God, that was amazing trip back one way, David. Anyways, I
What was
digress. Sorry.
So she's on the bus. One arm is, holding herself. So she was-
Shackled.
yeah.
Okay.
So she had a briefcase and her purse, and she had her smartphone in her hand, and all the way down 4th Avenue, she was doing something on her BlackBerry.
Now, when you say
So
doing something, was it
she's
pornographic?
texting.
What
No,
she was doing?
I don't
Oh.
know what she was doing
Oh,
because
okay.
she
I
was
was
just
checking.
standing there. But she was texting
Oh.
or she was emailing or she was doing something.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was really in awe. And I was going to haul out my phone and take a picture, but I thought, no, better not. Just
Well, unless you
Sort
ask
of
for her
creepy.
email.
When I'm on the SkyTrain, I'm listening to a podcast while I'm surfing the internet or checking my email. So, I'm doing 2 or 3 things at the same time on my phone. You can't do that on a computer.
Nope.
So basically, you're bringing the internet with you on your smartphone, and you have so many more points of engagement
Yep.
on the smartphone than you do.
Well, also, in Asia, everybody texts. Like I would be in Tokyo going to work, and there'd be everybody actually with one hand. They had these microphones, and the way they sold phones in Japan was the weight, 80 grams. The new phone does text, and we're talking like 12, 14 years ago. Oh, we do movies, we do all the stuff the iPhone does now. 12 years ago, guys. But it's only 80 grams. These things were tiny, and these guys would be texting like tick, because it was impolite to talk on the phone on the subway system. So everybody's and in the office and in meetings, so people texted, and it's a huge texting society there, more than a talking on the phone society. What's it like in Thailand? Is it more of a texting group, or is it more of
Now in Thailand is we more like a chatting on BBM.
Yeah, BBM.
Or the other social like Facebook.
yeah?
And Twitter or MSN.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mobile MSN.
But basically, it's all and now.
It's more texting more than phone.
Yeah. Now,
More
do
than call.
you think iPhone's more popular there, or the Android, or BlackBerry?
In Thailand,
Yeah.
now BlackBerry.
BlackBerry's king.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry for using the king's name, and that is very bad of me.
It's funny.
Actually, my
because
question is,
BlackBerry
sorry
could-
to be totally get in trouble for all our Thai listeners. What's the name of the king? I can't remember. It's King Rama the. No, it's.
Bhumibol.
Thank you, Bhumibol. Does he have a BlackBerry?
No.
Because, this guy is so cool. I mean, really, as kings, he is the coolest king in the world. He built his own boat. He had the first Macintosh in Thailand. The guy rocks. He used to hang out with Elvis. This is how cool this guy is. The king hung out with the king. And he loves his technology, so I bet he must have, well, in Thailand, they're pretty crazy for mobile phones. I used to know a guy that had 3 mobile phones, and his driver carried all 3. And was kind of like a secretary driver thing. It was nuts there. But I wonder if he has a phone. And if he texts, he must have. I know the big rumor was that he had one of his secretaries or somebody like that doing Twittering, not Twittering, but Facebooking. Not Facebook, because Facebooking wasn't around back then. But basically emails and interaction on BBMs, like you were saying.
Yeah, he has the secretary.
Yeah, his secretary does stuff. Isn't that cool? Hey, come on, that's so cool. I mean, he is the coolest king in the world. He is.
So he dictates to the phone.
No, he's
And I don't mean that in a political way.
Yeah. No, he's just he's always loved technology.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty sharp cookie. And he just if he would be the first guy to have an email account in Thailand, right? And he would be the first to do this and the first to do that, all about technology. So yeah,
So he would
high
just
respect for the guy.
Stand by one side and say, "Excuse me, take a text."
Well, he would look at the text,
and then somebody would come up and do this.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's a kingly
type
thing.
with their thumbs.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you'd have the job description, kind of like who's that actor in Hollywood that's got trouble right now?
We're not allowed to talk about that. That was the deal before the show.
Was it? Oh, sorry.
And if
I'm
we
not
do,
allowed
we
to
have
bring
to black out his name.
the next show. The next show we'll bring it up. But there is a job
Apparently-
description. He's looking for a social media secretary because he got rid of his. And we're not going to use his name, but we're still going to talk about him. He fired his publicist, but there is a competition out there right now on the internet looking for a social media specialist. Bonnie, look, you're looking up at the ceiling. She's not going to say anything. I'm getting okay. Let's go to the next subject before Bonnie
before we move on to the next subject,
because she could implode.
Blackberries. We're talking about Blackberries.
Oh, that's what that digression.
Blackberries-
Hang on, I need to have a sip of beer. Sorry.
Blackberries kind of get left out in the whole debate. on
I know, and Windows
they
Phone
are-
7.
They are Windows Phone 7 was pretty much
Toast.
dead in the water until the Nokia deal.
Yeah, now they're huge in Europe, I hear.
And now, by this time next year, they may be huge. Who knows?
Well, they're pretty big now. I mean, there's been a pretty big adoption of the Windows 7 in
No,
Europe
it's-
because it's Nokia. So everybody's, I want to
they have
upgrade.
that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen until Mango, and that's not until later this year that there will even be a Windows Phone 7 on Nokia.
Mango.
So we're looking at probably months before that happens.
Really?
But once it happens,
It'll happen.
Nokia owns Western Europe. It owns the developing world for their lower cost
Literally.
cell phones. Literally,
They got
they've,
lots of huge
they own
tracts
the
of
market.
land.
They own the market for cell phones in those regions. Now, once Windows Phone 7 is implemented as the standard OS on all their smartphones, it's going to be huge. And this is what developers needed, I think, in order to feel confident to develop apps. And so I think that this time next year it'll be a different picture for Windows.
Now,
Phone
Bonnie,
7.
I think Bonnie needs to jump right in there. Bonnie?
Well, I was just going to say that I wouldn't count BlackBerry out because BlackBerry owners are very loyal.
Mm.
And they're not all realtors and they're not all corporate clients.
Nope.
They're just people who
Who got addicted to BBM?
They're
Right.
cool. They're crackberries.
Yeah.
They
I mean, geez, I would get. Well, I have a BlackBerry, but when I had the BlackBerry and then I found out about crackberry, I was like stoked, man. I mean, like a major North American drug named after my cell phone. Like, how cool is that? Now I don't have to. I can give up heroin. I've got my BlackBerry. I don't have to do heroin anymore to be cool. You know.
Well, any BlackBerry owner who goes to a Torch can't stop saying nice things about them.
The Torch is great.
But I mean, the people who are or the what's the word I want?
Naysayers.
The press. Yeah.
Oh, the press.
The press. Just pretty much.
The pundits.
The pundits. Yes, that was the word I was looking for.
It's all iPhone.
Are
It's a CIA plot.
well, I follow a number of technology journalists, and I would say 6 months ago it was all iPhone, Apple, to the point where you wanted to just throw up. And now it's all Android. That's all they're talking about.
Yeah.
And none of them, they just sort of said, "Oh yeah."
The one thing though I find is and I'm in the industry. I sell mobile phones for a living. Is iPhone customers become evangelists for the product, and you don't see that with Android customers. Even the most fervent Android customers, they'll show their phone and say it's cool. But iPhone customers, they walk into a party, they're showing, hey, check out this app, check this out, check this out, check this out. And that's how that's the only reason why iPhone is actually infiltrating corporations and actually getting adopted is because the
bludgeoning,
the groundswell of employees that are evangelizing the staff.
Well,
to
that
get
is the Mac religion. I'm a Mac guy. I've used Mac for years because I'm in the arts, and Macs are cool and they work for me and stuff. But yeah, you tend to get a little evangelistic. And now I used to be much more into Macs when they were the big loser. Like they almost went bankrupt years and years ago, and say, yeah, man, I got my Mac here, and I always buy Macs, and it's cool. The advertising agency use Macs, and the cool people use Macs. Blah blah blah. And now, like, they're on top. They're one of the biggest players. Not so cool. So guess what? I'm not getting an iPhone, man. They're not cool anymore. I'm going to go for Android.
So do you think that they're evangelists because they're a certain personality that's attracted to
Well, artists are flaky.
something? Well, they're not all artists, though.
Yes, all artists are flaky.
I think
And I'm just trying to get comments here. Say, Bob, you're an asshole. Flaky artist? Come on, I'm an artist and I'm cool. Hey, I've been an artist for years. Trust me, I'm flaky.
I think the reason is
and
because
uninformed.
a lot of people who get these phones, a lot of people who get an iPhone, it's their first real smartphone, and when they see what it can do, they get really, really excited about it.
Well, it's magic.
And once you have an iPhone, your chances of sticking with an iPhone are fairly high. They've got probably the greatest retention rate out of all of the mobile of all the smartphones. Having said that, I agree with you that Android is really getting a lot of momentum, and Apple can't compete with every single manufacturer who's producing Android phones right now.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, when you buy an iPhone, then you buy another iPhone, then you buy another iPhone, it's all kind of the same thing over and over again. The appeal for a lot of people is that they can go out and buy this kind of new phone, and it has these buttons and this, and it plays that, and then you go out and get another Android phone, and it's completely different. It's a different configuration. You have to play with it. You got to make sure you understand it, and for a lot of people, that's the attraction.
Yeah, you know what?
It's not the same thing over and over and over. And I'm going to have the same phone for 10 years? I don't think so.
Well, I think what it is that's an unattraction, a disattraction that people want. The thing with iPhones is that it's a safe, locked system. It's a gated community, and it's been used a lot by the pundits. And you get an iPhone, and you get the certain apps, and it's a dumb phone. For such a smartphone, it's for people that aren't they don't have the technological muscles like Arnold. I'm going to take my Android, I'm going to pump it up. I mean, you get your iPhone, there's no pumping involved. It's like, I got an app for the steroids, no problem. Boom, boom, boom. I got muscles.
Although Android is very easy to use too. Android though has widgets, which I think it's great. I think the iPhone in iPhone 5 should bring out widgets. It only makes sense. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just going to say, in online marketing, you don't give on your web page. You don't give too many choices because people get confused, and I think that's going to be a big detriment to Android.
Yes.
Do I buy an HTC? HTC has got 5 or 6 of them. Is it a Droid X? Is it a whatever? Is it a whatever? So what phone am I going to buy?
That's what they say. Android's biggest strength is their diversity of manufacturers and diversity of variations of the OS, but it's also their biggest weakness because you buy one iPhone and you've got on a Motorola you've got Moto Blur, which is Motorola's skin that goes over top of the Android OS, and then on the HTC you've got HTC Sense, which is HTC's version of augmenting the Android OS. So it's not just like you said. The iPhone is the same no matter what, right? You go through all the iPhones, iPhone 3G, iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4. Little things have changed, like allowing multitasking and a few other things.
Yeah, but and while all of that is true, it would eventually just become another phone, another thing you carry in your pocket. For me right now, I have an Android, but it's my second Android. Mm-hmm. And the first one was good. This one's better, and I can hope for the next one to be much better than that. And I can go out and get a larger screen, a smaller screen. It can adapt to whatever I'm doing at the moment. You buy an iPhone, it's an iPhone. And while a lot of people don't mind that their phone is going to operate the same for the next 10 years, there's a lot of us gadget freaks out there that just love playing with new stuff.
True, but there's always going to be the new iPhone too, iPhone 5, iPhone 6.
Yeah, but they're all going to look the same. They're all going to operate the same. The operating system's going to be the same. It's going to have another camera on the other side. Cool.
Yeah, but couldn't you say the same thing about Android?
No, because each phone has its own character.
Yeah,
and that
its own skin, its own. Each manufacturer has its own personality added to the
its own attitude, all the rest of it. And I think it's a much more personal phone than an iPhone could be.
And I'm an Android fan. I'm currently on the Windows Phone 7 just because they gave me one. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad they did because actually I really do like the platform now. But if I had could pick any phone off the shelf, I would pick the HTC Desire HD at this particular time.
Right.
Great phone, 4.3-inch screen, very fast, 8-megapixel camera. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool phone. And I do everything Google, so Android is a perfect fit for me.
Exactly.
The only thing I don't like about Android and it's a big deal for me is because I listen to a ton of podcasts. When I had my iPhone, I just sync it with iTunes. All my new content comes in, gets synced into the phone. My old content goes out. Perfect. When I switched to Android, I used a smart playlist and I tried many different apps to sync my Android phone with iTunes, and it worked, getting the content in. But the Android player does not mark the song or the podcast as played, which is fine for music because you listen to it over and over. For podcasts, you listen to the episode once and then you want it off your device. I had to manually delete them every time, which is just a big pain in the butt because when you're listening to 20 or 30 podcasts, last week's episode of This Week in Tech kind of sounds the same as this week's This Week in Tech, and you get about 10 minutes in and you're like, oh, I listened to that one already, and so then you delete it. But it's
call Android, get them to do that. Hello, Android, do that.
Well, the new version of Google Listen, apparently they've got a desktop version now, and I want to try it out and see if it actually does work.
See, that's the advantage of Android.
Yeah. Now with Zune and the Windows Phone 7 works perfect that way because it's got Zune and everything works fine. So I've got no complaints whatsoever with Windows Phone 7 in that regard. So, but if I was to pick any phone, it would be Android for sure right now. And Bob just ordered his Samsung Galaxy S on eBay, I believe.
Yeah.
And he'll be getting it next week.
So, hey, but before we get into that, I just wanted to backtrack a little bit with apps. And we do have an audiophile specialist in it, actually a Maven. And apparently there's a German or Swedish or something manufacturer that makes pretty high-end, weird-looking stuff. And they have an app. Can you give us a little review on the app?
Are you talking about Bang & Olufsen?
Oh, that's it. Yes.
Don't say Bang & Olufsen. It's Bang & Olufsen.
It's like Bong and Olufsen.
Don't say Bong.
Yeah, that's the Thai version.
No, if you say Bong, I can't talk to you. It's Bang.
Yeah, you know, Bong is a Thai word. Just to let you know, that's another thing to respect with that culture. Anyways, so we got Bang & Olufsen. They actually have an app. Is that for your iPhone so you can run your equipment? Or buy equipment?
This is Scott speaking, by the way. And there is an application for not only audio and video, but also for the complete integration of... Because I specialize more custom installation. So it's total control of lighting, audio, video.
Through your iPhone?
Through the iPhone.
No way.
Through the... Of course, it's an iPhone... I think it's an iPhone world, iPod world. So there's an app for that on Bang & Olufsen.
So here I am sitting down with... I've got my $80,000 Bang & Olufsen speaker system.
80? What are you, cheapo?
Yeah. Well, speaker system. I wasn't talking about my Macintosh amps. And then I whip out my iPhone and I say... And then I can go through my music collection, obviously, because MP3s on a $30,000 stereo system sounds good, apparently. I can control the volume and everything through my iPhone with this app?
Well, it's much more than that because, with regards to the custom installation, you could basically have the, iPhone in your pocket. If you walk into a particular room, you could be controlling your music, lighting, audio, video. We can trigger motorized devices. It's basically...
giggity.
Now, do you have an Android app for that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think the generation gap has arrived here. I'm sorry to say, I'm a little bit slow on that. I don't know about that.
Okay.
You know who I'm thinking of a cartoon character that could work. Who's the guy who goes giggity?
Don't know.
Come on, everybody.
But can I say something?
Oh yeah, please, absolutely.
One thing, I have this on my phone right in front of me here right now, and I must say it is a little bit challenging in terms of I think. Like I said a moment ago, the generation gap has definitely arrived, and you definitely have to be more of a network person in order for this to function. And, to tell you the truth, I have to be a little more computer savvy in order to, control how well this does a handshake with the product. So I'm getting educated about this.
Is it Bluetooth driven? Is it Bluetooth driven or?
They have a device actually called ML Gateway, so it's through RS-232 control.
Because
which converts to Bang & Olufsen's proprietary system, which is MasterLink.
Yeah, I know with
For
a lot
audio.
I know a lot of the audiophile setups you can get with the big 30, 40, 80 to $300,000 rooms that you can build.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with proprietary software and like these little like iPad devices that
That's
aren't
right.
iPads. They're just like, because we were talking 5 or 6 years ago when
Yeah,
they brought
yeah.
these out, and that software is really expensive.
Well, basically, I have a free app on my phone, but it costs you $2,500 for a device called ML Gateway
to make it work.
to make it work. right.
Awesome.
So that's a yeah, but
So hey, well, you know,
actually, it's a very
Is the app free though?
the app is free.
The app is free.
The app
Good,
is
good,
free. The app is free, but
so anybody can download it and pretend they're cool.
you can
Check this out. I don't have the Bang & Olufsen. It's just cardboard cutouts.
Oh, you can fake
But
it like
man, oh
crazy.
man, that sounds
You get,
good, eh?
instant, you get instant status at all the parties you go to.
Absolutely. Check out my Bang & Olufsen app.
That's. But,
Anyways,
actually, despite the price point, it would be nice if it was totally free, but that's not the way it is.
yeah,
and
it's not a reality, is it?
That's not reality, and it's actually a very nice solution because the custom guys who do the larger scale audio video integration, they've always hated integrating with Bang & Olufsen because they couldn't control our products. So
So I have a
It's a good
question
thing.
for you, being a Bang & Olufsen specialist. If you are an audiophile but don't have a huge budget, where should I spend my money? Should I spend it on the speakers, on the cable, the preamp, or on the turntable? It's a tough question.
The turntable.
Yeah.
so many choices, my friend.
So many choices.
So many choices.
It's the wires that you have from your cartridge.
Well, forget about the
through
wires.
the arm.
Well, I mean, Bang & Olufsen, it's a totally different mentality. If you want to talk about that product specifically, because the speakers are self-powered, so you're not going to spend a fortune on
Oh.
expensive speaker wires.
Nice.
Unlike the audiophile systems, and thank God I've got that out of my system because
Yeah.
you'll spend literally $30,000 on a power cord if you've got that.
If you
in
do
your-
it right,
if
yeah.
you- If you want to get into that, but
Yeah.
Bang & Olufsen are smart because they have powered speakers, so it's basically a connection from the preamp to power amp. So
And you do a really small, low impedance
just a
cable,
line level
right?
connection. You do not need to spend a
Is it
fortune.
digital? Is it a digital connection?
No, it's just a balanced line connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Limited length, I would think,
But
right?
my
4 meters
background
max.
is more audiophile, so I would,
Ah.
I don't know. Guys will argue that. I can't answer that question. Some guys will say it's the front end. You got to spend a fortune on your turntable, or other guys would say it's the synergy between your speakers and power amp. But I can't answer that in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of mute because I went to visit a guy one day to pick up. I don't think it was like a really cheap card that I bought, and I went into his place, and he had these awesome speakers, like mahogany teak-looking thingies, and then he had a tube amp in the middle,
That's the best, yeah.
and then he had it hooked up to his computer and was playing MP3 through it. It's like, what? Come on.
Well,
I mean, it was digital because digital went into this thing, made it analog, and then went out to the speakers. I mean, it sounded great, but really, the stuff that you're going to get off the internet, unless it's like 156 or higher, you're not really going to get the audio.
Well,
There's not
again,
enough data.
I have to be quite honest here. I'm not very computer savvy, but I can tell you some of my friends who have been in the business a long time, the best sounding audiophile systems with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They always are integrating with the digital media with a very high quality D2A, and I don't know all the nuts and bolts of it, but I can tell you
It's sweet.
it rocks.
So do you going totally audiophile crazy here? It's when you have a perfect set of speakers, really nice setup with the chair right in the right sweet spot in a room. It's called imaging, I think, is when the sound actually, when you experience it, isn't coming from the speaker. Your perception is about 3 to 4 feet in front of the speakers, and that's as close as you can get to a real live.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I could be
imaging is just one small
but it's a cool thing.
aspect.
It's pretty
there's
cool.
so much that like I said, I studied audio engineering for a couple years before I did this, like 100 years ago. But I don't know what to say there. I mean, that's just one small aspect of having a real
Small.
top-end audiophile
All right.
system.
So
Cool.
that's about as informed as I can sound.
I'm
You know,
sorry.
I want all your files to like zap in and say, Bob, what the heck are you talking about?
Imaging it. But it's funny. The owner of the company, it's always, doesn't that image great? Yeah. Imaging.
Do you know what? I think we're going to call him up and do
So
an
I'm
interview
sorry.
with him next week. Dude, what's with the imaging?
Yeah, that everybody likes the imaging word. That's cool.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like there's an app for that. It's like, oh, it doesn't image like, but there's a great app that goes with it. Okay, we'll take it.
But what I really find interesting here is because I would like to learn more about the computer and the networking side of things. Because honestly, you got to be a total dweeb, which I am not. I'd like to, excuse me, to all you.
You
dweebs.
had a dweeby question earlier. What was it? What's a QR code? I think
yeah,
it was.
what was? Yeah, I don't know. What the hell
Bonnie,
you're
do you want to
talking
explain what QR code is? You're on. Bonnie, what is a QR code? For layman's terms, please. Oh, damn, man.
Oh, damn. It's a barcode.
Okay.
It's the
What does it look like?
mobile version. It's square.
Why does it have to be square?
It doesn't have to be, actually.
Oh, really? Why did everybody make it square?
It is a generic barcode that's square.
Ah.
But people who are designing QR codes are making them whatever shape they decide and putting graphics in the middle.
Wow.
Mhm.
So a QR code is basically what's interesting about a QR code, because I experimented with them a little bit, is if you take a picture of it or scan it low resolution or create one on the internet low resolution, they're like, postage stamp size 72 dpi. So if you know anything about printing production, that's very, very small, unprintable, but it will scale infinitely. So I've put it into Photoshop and scaled it up to a 300 megabyte file, and there was no resolution loss because it's pure black, pure white, squared off. And that is why a camera can actually recognize it and get a very, very high resolution image of it. And that's why you can have all this data. And I think it's like 240 or 250 characters you can hide inside a standard QR code square. No, 250 characters. Somebody's going to digress. You're misinformed, Bob.
I actually read on the net, because I looked for it purposely.
Well, it's on the net. It's not true.
4,000 characters.
Really? Well, I saw one that automatic, and it only gave me 250. I would love to see. We'll put that in the show notes. Dude, I would love to find out about that, because 4,000 characters, God, that's a tome.
That's
you
a
could
book.
Put. That's
a
awesome.
book.
Well, maybe not a book, a chapter maybe. But still, it's a lot more than a tweet.
Well,
So,
that's
Bob,
pretty
how
cool.
does that affect my B&O?
Your BO. You can get
Why
that
do I
stuff
care
for
about
the
that?
underarms. And
Answer my question, Mike. I need to know what. Anyways, like.
oh, hang on. Here comes somebody. I'm sorry. What is your name again? Afton. Isn't that awesome? Afton. Why do we always
you,
get
Afton.
beautiful bar maidens that have cool names? Afton. Oh, okay.
It's a job.
She's blonde. She's very good. And she's got a name called Afton.
Anne has a picture of it. That helps me.
Oh, what's
the novice over here.
QR
Yes.
code. Yeah, that's an awesome. So that's a 250 character QR code. It's what does that one say?
And,
So we're sorry, just for you people who are listening, everybody's whipped out their smartphones and they're QR coding to death. There's QR codes. There's QR codes everywhere. So
and actually, there's some
it's
bunker
like a
project
snowstorm.
QR codes in Australia.
It's my phone.
Oh, Bob's got a call. It's probably one of our
All right, it's private number.
call-ins for next
Hello,
week.
Bob here.
Okay, so she's taking a picture right now of the QR code.
Is this Tristan? Hey, Tristan. Can you guys hear that? Sorry, I just... Yeah, no problem. Did you guys hear that?
A little bit.
Okay. Hang on, Tristan. Tristan, what's your number? We're going to call you right back. Are we set up to do a mix minus?
For the next show. We'll call him back next week.
Well, we're an hour into the show. Yeah, we're writing QR codes. We're doing lots of QR codes. Okay, let's just pull the show back together. We have one quick question. You don't have to turn on and off your mic because we can hear it.
Okay, so you had a question.
The
before
post
show.
QR code concept question.
You also had a question on what a podcast was.
What's the definition? But why do they call it a podcast?
That was my first question when I showed up here prior to my beer. What the hell's a podcast?
Okay, so a podcast is a piece of media, could be video, could be audio, streamed over the internet using an RSS feed, and that's the key. Is it has to be distributed via an RSS feed.
See, another acronym. See, I do not understand, so I'm getting educated here.
Real simple syndication.
Yeah, real simple syndication. There we go. Ding.
I don't think you should have the B&O dude on
So
this,
what does POD stand for? Portable, optimum.
No, it's
Pretty.
gee, it just went out of my head.
Pretty.
No,
No. Pedantic. Pedantic would be pedantic, obnoxious.
Let me look
it
it up.
says
It's a
B for
personal
Bob.
something device.
Are we,
Oh,
we're
nice.
talking about POD?
POD, yeah, it's personal.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. The ramen noodle will say it's passion, organization, and dialogue.
Oh, the ramen dude.
But really, what it stands for is iPod, just because iPods were the prevalent and still are the prevalent MP3 player that people listen to podcasts on. So
Well, it's an
there was a
iPod
big
world, isn't it?
big debate about about killing the name podcast for some other name, because it kind of leaves the impression that you need an iPod in order to listen to a podcast, which is totally not true.
So I've been listening to podcasts for a very long time, long before the iPod
Became popular, yeah.
Became it was a Real player. Real was the brand name,
Yeah.
and I was listening to podcasts back then. So that would have been
1542.
1542.
Podcast came out in
Just
about
after
in
Columbus.
2004, I believe, is when podcasting came to be.
Right.
Before that, it was online audio. It was just audio attached to an audio player on a website.
Right. So they were harder to find
Yeah.
before iTunes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Matt, what's his name, Curry, was experimenting with it.
Yeah, he got together. There was a broadcaster that he knew, Adam Curry, that is.
Adam Curry, that's
Adam
right.
Curry. He had a broadcaster friend that he asked if he would blog things for him. And he said, but I'm a radio personality. I don't write things down. I say them. So they got together and did the first, a series of 3, first podcasts. Personal on-demand broadcasting is what it means.
POD.
That just came right into my
Personal
head.
on-demand
Personal,
what?
beautifully
Personal
done.
on-demand broadcast.
that'd
can
be
you do
pod.
that in a
That'd be
radio
pod.
voice?
That wouldn't be pod. That'd be pob.
Oh, yeah. Nice one. But you see, if you'd used your radio voice, we would have believed you. Personal
But, that's good. Personal on-demand
dialogue?
distribution. I don't know.
The stand is kind of
Nice try, though.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's a podcast.
I did a whole bit on it, but I can't remember it right now.
That's okay. The bottom line is Adam Curry and his colleagues there
Yes.
developed the platform. And then
Yes.
a few years later, just 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, a company by the name of Volo Media came out with a patent for podcasting. They came out with a patent claiming that they own a patent, the technology, not just podcasting, the term, excuse me, but distributing media, episodic media over the internet.
Isn't that those they did that to
Yeah,
everybody, though?
Unbelievable!
Yeah. I don't think so.
It's like back in the day when a company tried to patent the hyperlink,
Yeah.
and they actually got a patent. But half of a patent's value is the ability to enforce the patent.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a joke.
And if you
anyways.
try and sue everyone on the internet, you're going to fall short.
Yeah.
Well, then you'd be the movie industry.
And it could just be thrown out of court as like something that you can't actually, you can't.
Well, the guy that
Own
actually came up
podcasting.
with RSS was a coder, and he listened to Adam Curry and his buddy but he was usually in his car when this happened, so he wanted it when he wanted it, so he came up with RSS.
Well, he had already come up with RSS, but because RSS is what blogs are based on too. And,
No, but this was even before podcast. Well, this is I can't
blogging
remember
had
the
already
year.
come to be at that point, and basically they just used the technology of a blog and incorporated that into podcasting. But we can talk a little bit more about that next week. I think it's time to.
It's time to start
the
that wrap-up music, ladies and gentlemen.
So
Hey, and I'm just going to...
if you're listening to us on iTunes, there's a little button just a little bit down below where you can give us a 4 or 5 star rating,
Or 6.
and out of 5.
Yeah.
And write a little comment. It'll help us out a lot. And call us at 1-877-636-1474. And one of our listeners did just that, and we're going to play his comment next week. So you can look forward to that. Call us at 1-877-636-1474 and leave a message. What do you have to say, Bob?
All I got to say is tangential. Next show, I'll explain what that means.
Tangential. All right, we'll see you again next week.
Bye-bye.